Sure, there was a major announcement that the NAR Board of Directors agreed to fund with RPR an upstream project and an AMP project, which would be in conjunction with large brokers and all the brokers in the country, and also a project that will help some of the mid or small size MLSs. And it's the first major initiative that the large brokers have gotten together and brought in mid and small size brokers as well to have a control of their listing data going forward and to make sure that they take back control of their listing information and then be able to bring it into their offices and disseminate it out into the marketplace wherever they see fit and how they see fit, and really have the point of control in the very beginning and not give that up to the third parties like they feel they're doing now.
Dale, let's kind of divide it into two parts, okay, because I think they're both really noteworthy. On the AMP side, you say you're going to be in a position to provide back-end data services to smaller MLSs, but I presume all MLSs could partake, right?
Sure. So about 12 months ago, some of the mid and smaller MLSs came to us and said, we're using RPR in our market. You're our technology partner in a lot of different ways. Can you help us with our back-end issue of providing back-end services for us that we have other vendors doing and allowing us to have multiple front ends? So our brokers are asking us and others, can we access the MLS information through multiple sources, multiple apps? And can you help us do that? So when that request came in from 1, 2, 3, and about 10 or 15 of those smaller MLSs, we then said, let's put a business model together. And does this make sense as NAR's technology arm to help those mid to small MLSs? Larger MLSs may come to us later and say, yes, you've done stuff for them, can you do some things for us? And of course, because we're NAR and because we represent all the membership, we look at those requests from larger MLSs as well if they need our services.
That's exciting in and of itself. Tell me a little bit about your expectations there. How fast do you think that's going to grow? And talk a little more about the benefits to the MLSs who elect to take advantage of this service.
Sure. So today in the marketplace, in the MLS industry, you have 3 large vendors, and they control about 70% market share. The MLSs over the last 10 to 15 years have done a very good job driving the cost down, the wholesale cost that those MLSs pay their vendors. And they've done a great job doing that. The issue is the innovation. So is the cost point so low that some of those vendors today just can't innovate? And it's not because they don't want to, but it's a funding issue. So that's one of the issues in the market today. How can I have a more robust back end that has advanced technology and innovate to keep my MLS forward for my members? So that's really what the AMP project is designed to do. It's not just about the cost of the MLS, the back end, it's also the innovation piece. Yeah. And allowing the MLS to say, I'm innovative and giving my members the services I think they want.
Right. And there's tremendous value, obviously, in giving them a choice of front-end systems. There's also value in creating effectively a standard that those of us who provide software can write to. So how soon will this project be live and really be visible to the members in the field?
Sure. So we've taken a position that's going to take about 2.5 years to build out these projects. Now that doesn't mean that we won't have MLSs come online next year or the year after. It's a matter of saying to get scale, it may be 2.5 years to get to scale. So we've got a couple MLSs already that have issued RFPs to us that we're answering. Probably would light them up next year sometime, depending on their contracts and what they want to do. And then we have a number of MLSs behind that in the queue that will come to us and say, okay, now you've done this, can you help us do that? So a lot of it's going to depend on the MLS and how quickly they can move forward and make those decisions and know what their contracts are with their vendors and how that's going to all work together.
Great. Let's talk about upstream, because I think that is actually the more revolutionary idea. How do you see that unfolding? You've kind of described it, but how do you see the work there unfolding as well?
Sure. So in any type of technology, you have to have a pilot, you have a beta test. So we believe is by the first of the year, end of the first quarter, we'll be able to have a prototype, a basic prototype, to take a couple of brokerage firms with their CIOs and say, okay, let's start beta testing into your particular market, your brokerage company. That may take 4 to 5 months after we launch it to them. They've got systems they've got to integrate. They've got their back-end systems, their affiliate service systems, their current systems. So how is the upstream project that we develop in technology integrate into their technology? How does it integrate into the MLS technology? Because remember, part of this is going to be in the upstream project, I as a broker control the feed, and then I have to send it to the MLS. So how's the MLS going to receive that feed, or the other syndicators? So all of that has to be worked out and integrated. We have to beta test it first to make sure those 2 or 3 brokerage houses are working first, and then we can release it into the rest of the brokerage community. We believe it's going to be 2.5 years to really get many of them online, integrated with their MLSs, the syndicators, whoever else, and then everybody else can come into it once we launch it completely.
And from a standpoint of how do you think this is going to affect the ability of agents and brokers in particular to control their own data?
I think it's a game changer, and I don't want to overuse that word, but it's the first time the brokers and the agents can take their data from point A and deliver it all the way down to point Z with their total control. So they can take a listing into their office, they can populate it with all the information RPR has, they can have one property record, lock it down, so nobody can open it or touch it or change the data set, send it downstream, if you will, to their ancillary services and out to anybody else they want to do. They can also send certain data sets. So if they're syndicating out to a syndicator, they might not need the entire record. They may need 35 fields or 40 fields, so they can control those fields and switch them off and switch them on depending on who they want to send it out to. That allows that broker to take absolute control of their data. They can decide who gets it, what data sets they get, when they get it, and if somebody violates that, they can tag it and say we're no longer going to send you the data feed, which today they don't have that opportunity necessarily to do.
And this is open, obviously, or will be open as you build it out to not only the larger brokers, but to every broker.
Absolutely. We're part of NAR. I was a boutique broker for 25 years, a small broker, a mid-sized broker, a large broker. The large brokers have taken initiatives to get it off the ground, but even with their governance issues on their board of governors, they have small brokers, mid-sized brokers, large brokers. This is open up to the entire brokerage community who belong to NAR.
So when you look at both of these initiatives together, how do you see them unfolding out 3, 5, 10 years from now?
Okay, so I try to plan on a 60-month scale 5 years out. And what we've done with RPR 5 years ago is said, what are we going to be in 5 years, and do we accomplish our goal sets, our technology goal sets, which we did in December with launching mobile, as an example. I see the same thing here. We're going to have a 5-year horizon to build this out, to get everybody on the systems, to get the MLSs who want to participate in the AMP program and have them be more efficient in their marketplace, to get the brokers on the upstream system to be more efficient in their marketplace. And after 5 years, if we can do this, we've really changed the industry, control the brokers for the data, helping the MLSs that need help, and it really has set the industry in a different direction than we have today.